I'm Alex.
And I'm Riley.
And today's guest is Mr.
Thomas Huseman. Hi, guys.
Hello. Mind if we ask you some questions?
Not at all.
Okay. Thank you. So when you were in the Marines, where did you get transferred from?
When I was in the Marine Corps, I went to boot camp out in San Diego, California. I spent some time in San Diego, Norway, Spain, and then I was in the Gulf War in 1990-91 in Saudi Arabia and Kuwait.
Was boot camp pretty fun going to different places?
Well, boot camp was probably the least fun out of all of the things in the Marine Corps because it was really hard. Boot camp was 3 months long, and you were worked really hard.
What'd you have to do? Like, can you give us some examples?
In boot camp, they would wake you up at 5 in the morning, and you'd really train all day long. And if you made any mistakes, they would yell at you a lot. And one day I remember in particular, we were out on the parade deck practicing marching, and we were making a lot of mistakes. And the drill instructor brought us into the showers with our camouflage utilities, and we got all wet, and then they rolled us in sand, and we had to go on a 5-mile run. That wasn't very much fun. How would you guys like to do something like that?
Well, I have a tough time just running 1 mile. I can't imagine running 5.
Yeah, that must have been pretty hard.
It was, but it made me who I am today.
I bet you made us run a lot of laps.
In football?
Yep.
Yeah. I enjoy coaching football a lot.
Riley, you can give the next question, please.
How was going to all these different countries in war? Was it fun? Was it scary?
One of the things, going to the different countries, that was really interesting and fun, seeing different places. But I would say war takes on a whole new meaning. When you go there, you're really scared, and there's so many things that can happen in war that's unexpected. And sometimes movies and things like that make war seem pretty cool, but war really isn't cool. It's something that's necessary for freedom, but it's really scary.
So in war, were you guys ever frightened by maybe an explosion or a surprise attack?
We didn't have too many surprise attacks, but there were a lot of bombs that were going off, and knowing that there's people out there that would like to maybe shoot you or go after you, that can be pretty scary, and it's hard to get good sleep knowing that.
Did sleep really affect how you did in the military?
Yeah, everyone reacts to the lack of sleep differently. When you're in a really stressful situation and you're not getting sleep, sometimes it's difficult to think clearly, and you have to really take a step back and take your time in the decisions that you make to make sure you make good decisions.
Was there anything that inspired you when you were in the Marines?
Well, the one thing that I can remember, it was right after the ground war ended, when we were driving out of Kuwait back down to Saudi Arabia. The Saudis and the Kuwaitis lined the street of the highway, and they chanted USA, USA, and Bush #1. And they were referring to our President Bush at the time, which was President Bush Sr.
That's pretty cool.
It made us proud to be Americans.
I bet.
So, what went through your mind as you were stepping on a battlefield?
Well, I think the biggest thing is that once you stepped onto the battlefield, you wanted to make sure that you could step off it alive. And I think that was the biggest thing, is protecting yourself and protecting your fellow soldiers, because just like in school, you don't want to lose someone, so protecting everyone.
Did you ever see one of your people go down?
we did have one person die that we knew, and that was really hard because he was 23 years old, married with a little boy, and it was pretty sad to think that he would never go home again.
That's sad. Okay. Did you have any jobs after the Marines?
Yep, I've had a number of different jobs after the Marine Corps, but one job that I can remember that was pretty cool, that I think I got the job specifically because of the Marine Corps, was I had the opportunity to work for Prince, the singer.
Well, that's cool. What did you exactly do for him?
I managed all of his properties in the United States, so I made sure that all of his properties were running smoothly, making sure that people were coming and going through our building here in Chanhassen at Paisley Park.
Well, that's cool.
Yeah, it was pretty cool.
So in college, what did you like to do when you had free time after the war?
Well, after the war,
Were you done with college already?
yeah, I was already done with college. I actually did the Marine Corps in college at the same time. It was called a Platoon Leadership Commissioning Program. So once I graduated from college, I went to Officers Candidate School and then became an officer.
That's cool.
Yeah.
Before you went to the war in college, did you have any hobbies that you like to do?
Yeah, my first year I played football. I have a real passion for football, which leads me into these days where I get the opportunity to coach young men in football, 3rd through 8th grade, and it's a lot of fun. But other hobbies in college, I kind of just like to hang out with my friends.
Well, that's fun.
So how was 5th grade and all the way to junior high for you?
5th grade for me was fun. I think the one thing I liked the most was always playing with my friends and having a good time.
Well, that's fun.
Was there any special events that you would look forward to when you were a kid?
I think the biggest things that I looked forward to was either going to practice in my sports or the games. I loved all of the practices and sports and games.
What sports did you play besides football?
I played football, I wrestled, I played baseball, and I ran track. And in high school, I had the opportunity to go to state in 3 of those sports. So that was fun.
Well, that's cool.
Thank you, Mr. Hughesman, for coming in today.
Oh, no problem. It was my pleasure to be here.
Today's radio podcast was brought to you by Bluff Creek Elementary and Eastern Carver County Schools.